Hey, what's up, guys? So, today we're going to be talking about the coyote again, and I'm going to glaze the coyote once again. So, I recently stumbled upon this channel called Whipple Chris. It's spelled a little bit odd though, so it's actually, okay, never mind. It's just Whipple.Chris with two S's. So, this guy, he hasn't uploaded a video, but in like a year. But the videos that I'm talking about are 3 years old. I barely came across this channel. Look up his videos of his 10-speed coyote with the Whipple installed. Oh my god, dude, he's out here beating Hellcat Red Eyes, 797 horsepower, Shelby GT500s, not the old ones, but the real one, like the actual like race cars with the dual clutch transmission, Shelby GT500, 760 horsepower with the Predator engine. Oh my god. Dude, the stuff he's doing with these cars is insane. And this is kind of just lethal combination. Roll racing, you can't go wrong with a Whipple or turbo, you know. But now I'm looking towards like a Whipple 10-speed coyote. I think I did say in a past video I wanted a manual coyote, Gen 2, just because those headlights look amazing and they look like the GT500 headlights. And I'm not gonna lie, like the GT500 is a cooler looking car, but if we're talking money and speed, you're way better off with, let's just put like 55,000 in total for a Whipple supercharged 10-speed coyote, depending on what gen. Well, I'm assuming you're trying to get the S550s and up for the 10-speed, but if you want an S650, obviously it's going to be a little bit more. But it's still less than the GT500, which is a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is still cool, still dope, you know. Predator engine, but that's something totally different. I feel like that's more like a track monster. But if you're trying to do straight line speed, you can't go wrong with the 10-speed Whipple. So, yeah. Just looking over it right here, check out his videos. Just look up Whipple Chris on YouTube. Oh my god, and he's not just beating like the Hellcat Red Eyes and the GT500s, all these fucking fast cars. He's not just beating them by like a one car gap. It's multiple car gaps, and he just keeps on pulling and pulling. So that leads me to believe. Let's dissect why this is such a lethal combination. Now we're assuming that it's also, he has some sort of fuel upgrade. Okay, fuel pump upgrade. Obviously injectors. Of course, perhaps cold air intake with the Whipple. And then, just to be safe, I'm thinking he's also probably doing a crankshaft upgrade. But also maybe not. But for Whipples, like, the thing is about Whipples is they're so intense. They're so ferocious that they'll just eat up your crankshaft. Same thing with your driveline. I don't know too much about the rear ends on the Coyotes. I know I should, because obviously, I mean, look, the differential, the rear end of the Coyote is important. But like, what's so captivating about these cars is the way they rev up so good, and they love boost. So I'm thinking, yo, because we all are thinking of combinations when we think of these cars, these Coyotes. And I was thinking of like ESS supercharger with the 10-speed, because the Pro Chargers just have that beautiful linear power, and it's just that high-end boost, those high RPMs just in the 10-speed, it's just like a perfect combination. But that Whipple, you know, I don't mind me a Whipple, like just absolutely smoking the tires. A super violent, aggressive, ferocious animal that is a Whipple Mustang. But you also can't overlook the manuals, man. The 6-speed manual. If you get yourself a single turbo or twin turbo manual Mustang, you're also gonna have a very fun, enjoyable, violent ride. But dude, something about the combination of Whipple, upgraded crank, fuel pump, and then that 10-speed on the Coyote platform. Maybe some Meteor tires. Oh my gosh, dude. There's just something about that it's a great combo. You can't go wrong with it. That's like what, 800, 900, probably, maybe, perhaps even 1,000 horsepower to the rear wheels. And assuming you're doing roll races, if you got that meat in the back, you got those thick, I don't know, what is it like? The Hellcats have the 315s, 305s, whatever fits on the Mustang, just a more meat on the tire. Dude, you're gonna absolutely win these roll races. You're gonna char on everyone. You know, you're totally just. It's almost like more offensive though, because that's what I also see why he gets so many views. Because you gotta think, car content like doesn't get that much views unless it's like out of the ordinary. Like, you know, your Weston Champlin, I don't know how to say his name. Your Weston Champlins, those guys, they swap unique engines into body styles you wouldn't think, right? Like the Cummins Smokestang, or that LS Humvee. Or you take a Whistling Diesel where he also gets unique cars like that Duke, you know, I'm having a brain fire, I can't think of the name right now. Like the Duke Orange Charger. Like that Boomer Charger. He also has, like, he's known for like getting a car or a truck, and then channels will go and say, oh, this is Whistling Diesel's truck. Like Loud and Proud was talking about the black Cummins dually, I think it was the 2004 or 2005. Yeah, that Cummins, Loud and Proud took it basically. They fixed it up and they gave it away. They're like, oh yeah, this is Whistling Diesel's truck. Same thing with his first gen, the green first gen, super clean truck. He took it and he basically marketed it as like, yeah, this is Whistling Diesel's truck. There was another diesel shop, I believe. They took his red second gen. You know, that's his talent, is just making these high view videos with these cars and trucks, and he just basically talks trash about them. He loves talking trash about Dodge and Fords. Like even dude, he had such a beautiful Gen 2 Coyote, the red one, and he kind of proved that Coyotes, they can take damage. They can take good damage, and they'll just keep running. Because he totally violated that car. You know, you hate to see it as a car enthusiast. You hate to see that, man. But, you know, if it gets him views, you can't hate the player, bro. You gotta hate the game. The game, the people are the ones that click on that video. But anyway, yeah. That's basically the combo. That's the goal. 10-speed Coyote. And Whipple it. Crankshaft upgrade, fuel pump upgrade, and then basically just troll supercars. Troll people in Lambos, and Audi R8s, in GT500s, the Camaro Z01s, and C7 Z06s, and Hellcat Red Eyes. And those are all great cars, right? They have amazing status attached to them. Those cars that I just named off, Huracan, GT500 R8, Red Eye, ZL1, C7 Z06, all those cars are so good if you're just, like, you want to buy a car and you don't need to do any more mods really for power. It's like they almost have a perfect amount of power for their weight. Like, you know, C7 Z06 is a little bit lighter car, and it's got like 650 horsepower, right? LT4. Hellcat Red Eye, a little bit heavier, got that as 800. Those cars, you almost don't need to do anything to them, other than really like an exhaust upgrade if you're into that. Headers maybe. Camshaft for the Chevy engines, but apart from that, you don't need to do much. They pretty much come nearly perfect from factory, whereas the Coyote, it is pretty lackluster / underpowered from factory. And you know, of course, I'm not going to talk trash on them. A lot of people, like, if you're an average person, if you've never driven a performance car, or you've never even been a performance vehicle, 300 horsepower would feel fast. Like a little 4.8 LS from one of those old Silverado trucks, that would feel fast if you just tuned it up a little. And yeah, so of course a Scat Pack with 485 or like a GT with 460, you know, the newer one's 480 horsepower. Of course that's going to feel very fast. But there's just something so special and when you look at the competitors for the Mustang GT, it's the LT1 and the C7 Stingray. It's the LT1 and the Camaro SS. It's the 392s and the Chargers and Challenger Scat Packs. And those engines are great, but keep in mind, they can't really take boost. You can't build them up to be like 1,000 horsepower. The stock Coyote blocks, they can handle 1,000 horsepower. 900, 800, and most people, they're going to be content with 700 to 800 horsepower, right? Even 600. That's like the really fun numbers where it's a great daily driver. I said it, great daily driver. And you can get rowdy with it. You can party. You could absolutely burn the tires, destroy the tires, have fun, do burnouts, do fast 60 to 130s. Yo, I'm just saying, don't get pulled over if you're doing 60 to 130s. No, we are doing them, and I'm not responsible for if I influence you to get a Whipple, Pro Charge, or Turbo Coyote. I'm not responsible for you getting in trouble for going 130, 160. So yeah. Yeah, dude, those Coyotes, they are so loud from factory. They're so efficient for the liters. It's a 5 liter. And the Dark Horse has a 5 liter and 100 horsepower per liter. So 500 horsepower for a 5 liter. Compared to like a 6.4 Hemi that has 485 horsepower. You know, it's just super impressive overall. And yeah, Coyotes love boost. And what I've been talking about so far is just like a fun muscle / sport car roll racing. What's the cousin of the Mustang? Well, it's the F-150 single cab Coyote with that 4x4 and the 10-speed. So, you know, you put a Whipple on that sucker, or twin turbos, whatever you like, and you know, you got an amazing dig race car. Basically, it's a truck, but dang, it's a race car from a dig. It's so fast from a dig. You can't even fathom being like what we would feel like unless you've been in something like that or greater. But those things be GTRs. And GTRs are like one of the most glazed dig cars because they are also all-wheel drive. They also love boost. But yeah, if it's faster than a GTR, which is the most glazed all-wheel drive car, then Ford is really on top these days. I'm not gonna lie. Even though the S650 did kind of flop, I think it's just because they made it ugly. Like that front grille is way too huge and chunky looking. Here's what I say: if they brought back headlights that are similar to the Gen 2 ones, like GT500, those aggressive looking lights, and then made the grille a little bit smaller, they would have an award-winning product. And then also make the taillights a little bit less like Minecrafty. Like it looks so angular, those taillights in the S650s. Make it back like the Gen 3s. The Gen 3s have an amazing, gorgeous rear end. They have amazing taillights. And yeah. And then also make it cheaper, of course. Like, no way a base Mustang GT should be 40K, man. Dude, you do those things for like, if you do, I swear, $31,000 at the most out the door, they're gonna be selling. Like what you lose, what the company loses on initial that $9,000 loss, right, per car, they're gonna make up for it so much more with the amount of volume they sell in those cars. And you know what? It doesn't really matter. Like the Dark Horse, yeah, you get better suspension, better everything. It's like an actual track car. Sure, sell it for 60, 70,000. The people who love track cars are most likely have the money. Who are track car enthusiasts, they have the money to buy that. But also, I'm thinking, yo, if you're gonna be selling the Dark Horse, why not just make it come already with a twin turbo kit or a Pro Charger or a Whipple, right? Make it just come from the factory, steroided up, make it a roided up monster. There's no reason they should be selling, because this is what they did with the 392 boys. This is what they did with the SRTs. Remember when Dodge made the SRT Challenger and Chargers? Or yeah, I think it was both. And it was basically like the suspension, the driveline, like the drivability, everything about the car was like the Hellcat performance, right? Tighter suspension, you know, just more performance oriented. Better brakes, better better differential, like the Hellcat driveline, better transmission, but they give you the 392 engine. So what, like, that car didn't really make sense because they don't really like to be boosted. So I think there's like two paths you could take with that car. Is either you blow up the 392 trying to boost it, and then you just swap a Hellcat engine into there, and that's what was their thinking, I guess. Or you boost it successfully, but with that money, you could have probably gotten a demon, getting the 392 SRT, and with like a pro-charged forged internals, you know, big camshafts, 392, right? You probably could have gotten a demon. Or I guess the third option was, okay, you messed around with the 392 stock for a little bit. You did upgrades where you didn't need to add boost, just like all motor build, and you got bored of it, so you sell that engine and you just swap in the Hellcat engine, and then... But that doesn't really make sense. With the Dark Horse, I guess it does make sense. But even then, because obviously Coyote loves boost, but even then, why not just like make it come boosted from the factory? Because it's just hassle. Like, okay, I'm gonna get me a Dark Horse. On top of paying this big dollar, this big price tag, I gotta go take it. I gotta go buy a Whipple, and us, you know, if you have money to buy a Dark Horse, you're probably not gonna want to install the supercharger yourself unless you really love, like, you get really a euphoric feeling from working on your own car and building it how you like. Maybe you get a few buddies around, you know, you pay their labor with a few beers, a few 12 packs of beer, right? But most of these guys, they're probably not gonna do the Whipple installation by themselves. They're gonna get someone to, they're gonna get a shop to install it. So what is that, like $10,000 for the Whipple and then $10,000 to install it? Even if it is like 850 horsepower, Dark Horse, what are we talking, like, okay, so 70K for the Dark Horse, 10,000 for the supercharger, 10,000 for the labor. You got $90,000 for an 800 horsepower Mustang, and you know, that's fine. It's a track capable Mustang, 800 horsepower. But I think that's pretty much what Hennessy did. Hennessy got like an 800 horsepower Dark Horse, and it's great, it's fast. If you look at the POV video that they uploaded, it looks amazing, right? But how are we evolving? In what way is that captivating to people when they can go get a 2020 Shelby GT500, which could take like 1,500 horsepower on the stock block, stock internals and everything? Those GT500 Predator engines are not to be messed with. You know, that's the thing. They already come with so much power, and you could build like double the horsepower with them. It's just it's a crazy car, and you could probably get that for the same price. So it's just like, what are we doing here? What are we really achieving? What is Ford really achieving? That's where I know this is crazy. This video started off as like glazing the Mustang, and then it's ending off as like giving them advice. You know, basically, the people, we gotta be stern with them and tell them what we want. We want cheaper Mustangs. We want more bang for buck. We want to be incentivized to get these cars. We don't want some ugly, and it is kind of an ugly car, the S650. It might grow on people, but that grill is way too huge, like I said. We want something that looks beautiful, that's great for the price, that we can easily option in a supercharger if we wanted to. If they gotta literally give it, that's like, if they gave us the Whipple already installed for not that much, they will literally become the new Hellcats, because they're giving us value, Hellcat power, for a better value, you know? And that's how easily, they could easily dominate, but they're not doing it, so, you know, who knows? But I have faith, and yeah.